You know, the rivalry between Batman and the Joker, it's legendary, right? But what if I told you it's not just about a hero versus a villain? It's way deeper than that. We're talking about a war between two totally opposite ways of seeing the world, a fight for the very soul of society itself.
That line, it just sends a shiver down your spine, doesn't it? This is the Joker's whole argument, his big thesis, boiled down to one terrifyingly simple idea. He believes that deep down, everyone, you, me, all of us, is just one really, really bad day away from becoming, well, him. That our entire civilization is just a fragile joke, and he's just waiting for the punchline.
But what if he's totally wrong? I mean, that's the whole point of this entire conflict, right? It forces us to ask that one critical question. What if that one bad day doesn't actually create a monster? What if it just reveals the person you were all along?
Okay, so to really get into this, we have to look at what these two characters actually stand for. It's pretty clear. Batman is all about order. And the Joker? He's the exact opposite, a force of pure, unfiltered anarchy.
And this chart here just lays it all out perfectly. You've got Batman on one side. He's all about structure, rules, using his free will to stick to a code. Then you have the Joker, who's like his twisted mirror image. He's about demolition, anarchy, and just total destruction of meaning. For him, everything comes down to pure random chance.
So let's dig into Batman's side of things first. His whole mindset isn't just a simple list of do's and don'ts. No, it's way more complex. In fact, some analysis describes his psychology as a kind of, well, a fractal of values, a deeply ordered system.
And what is a fractal structure? Well, think of a snowflake. It's the perfect analogy. You've got that central pattern, and everything else just branches out from there, repeating itself on smaller and smaller scales. Now, if you snap off a tiny little piece on the very edge, the snowflake is still a snowflake. But what happens if you smash the core? The whole thing? It just falls apart. And that is exactly how Batman's mind works.
So here's how those values are stacked. At the very center, the trunk of the tree, if you will, is his basic drive, do good. And right there with it is his one absolute, non-negotiable rule, never kill. That's the core. Then you have the main branches, things like protecting Gotham's hope, think Harvey Dent. And then, way out on the edges, you have the little twigs, his personal relationships, like with Rachel Dawes. See, he can sacrifice a twig to save a branch, but he will never let anyone break that core.
Okay, now let's flip the coin and look at the Joker. It's easy to just call him chaotic, but that's not the whole story. He is a deliberate, calculating agent of obliteration. His entire reason for being is to find a structure, any structure, but especially Batman's, and just tear it to the ground. And this quote, man, it just nails it. A blue sky catastrophe. He's not just random noise. He's a precision strike. He's looking for the core of a system, a person's values, a city's hope, whatever, and he hits it right at its weakest spot, all to cause a complete and total meltdown.
I mean, just look at how he operates. He literally burns a mountain of cash. He doesn't care about money or power. He keeps changing his story about how he got his scars. Why? Because it's all part of his mission to reject structure itself. His number one goal? To push Batman so far that he breaks his one core rule. He needs Batman to kill him. Because if he can make the ultimate symbol of order break his own code, he proves that order is a sham. His dream world is one where everything is decided by the flip of a coin, just like Two-Face.
And this all circles right back to his big theory, doesn't it? That one bad day idea. But you gotta understand, this isn't just some abstract philosophy for him. It is the bedrock of his entire existence. It's his justification for everything he does.
Because if you really think about it, he's just trying to make himself feel better. He's trying to justify his own worldview. He needs to believe that deep down, everyone is just as ugly as he is. If he can prove that, hey, anyone would have made the same choices, then he's not really a monster, is he? He's just a product of a bad day. He's not alone.
But here's the big what if that completely demolishes his entire argument. What if tragedy isn't some kind of factory that churns out monsters? What if it's more like a fire, a crucible that just burns away everything superficial and reveals the true character that was hiding underneath all along? And this is the ultimate proof right here. Look at Bruce Wayne. His one bad day was watching his parents get murdered. And what did it reveal? A person driven to create order from chaos. The Joker's bad day? It revealed someone who chose to become an agent of chaos. But the final nail in the coffin for the Joker's theory is Jim Gordon. The Joker puts him through absolute hell, the worst day you could imagine. And what happens? Gordon doesn't break.
It reveals a man whose moral core is solid steel. The theory is just wrong.
But wait, it's not quite that simple, because here's where things get really messy and honestly pretty uncomfortable. To fight a force of pure destruction like the Joker, sometimes order has to bend its own rules.
So, to stop the Joker, what does Batman do? He builds this massive, citywide surveillance system. And yeah, a lot of people see this as a pretty direct parallel to things like the Patriot Act. Even his own moral compass, Lucius Fox, basically says, this is wrong. It's unethical, it's dangerous. And here's the key part. Batman agrees. He sees it as a necessary evil, a temporary step into tyranny to stop total anarchy. But, and this is so important, he makes sure the system is destroyed the second it's done its job. He walks right up to the edge of the abyss, but he makes the choice to step back.
So where does all this leave us? What's the big takeaway? Well, it's that this isn't a war that can ever really be won. It's an endless philosophical struggle, a constant, shaky balancing act between these two primal forces of order and chaos.
You know, some have even said this is just their destiny. They're locked in this dance forever. Think about it. Batman needs a chaotic world to bring order to. And the Joker, in a weird way, he needs an ordered world so he has something to burn down. They complete each other. They define each other.
And that, of course, leaves us with one last, pretty unsettling question to think about. When we look at our own world, in the constant fight against forces of chaos, how far are we willing to bend our rules? How much of the very structure we're trying to protect are we willing to give up just to win? And the biggest question of all, where do we draw that line?